Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
There is a hybrid. I'm not even sure if you guys heard of this one where they cross a rhinoceros with an elephant. You know,
is this real or is this a joke?
You know what they called it? Elephino.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to The Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that takes a popular saying and takes a shallow but hopefully comedic / interesting little dive into its usage, its origins, etc. But also we'll use it to hang our otherwise pointless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
I am Skinny, and with us today, distinguished guest.
I'm Be Fun. And
Nobody be fun like you, Be Fun.
Nobody be fun like me.
Thanks for coming today, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Super fun.
It's awesome.
This is one of our coworkers.
That's right. I'm just down the hall.
And yet it took us this long to ask you.
I'm always leaving when you're filming and I'm trying to be quiet.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Creeping out the door.
You staying on extra today just for us.
Just for you.
We appreciate it. It's awesome, man.
Well, welcome. Today's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to kick it off with a little something like this.
I've got 3 items on the docket. First, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Francine, happy birthday.
There you go. That's just for you. What's that from?
That's from Zootopia.
Yeah, it is. I tried to find something. You are a Disney fan.
Yes, I am. Yeah, especially my wife is a Disney fan, so now I am more of a Disney fan than ever before.
Yeah. So I tried to choose something Disney-ish.
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room. And that, of course, scene is from Zootopia where there is an elephant in the room.
I'm going to be the guy because I haven't seen Zootopia yet.
It's one of the good ones.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little... I don't think it got the popularity that it deserved. We've watched it at our place like 1 billion times. We like it. It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one, yeah.
I guess I'm the elephant in the room,
You are
so
the
to
elephant
speak.
in the room.
A metaphor. I'm irrelevant.
Wow.
I just want to be heard.
Nice.
Oh! Nice. You got another one?
No, I just got 2. How about that?
That was great.
That's funny. I was thinking of elephants in the room because one of the recent things that the 3 of us have done together, and by recent I mean
it was actually a year ago.
Is it summer?
It's got to be.
Summer a year and a bit ago.
Yeah, something.
Toronto?
That we did our Toronto
yeah.
trip together, and every day, so we went to the conference, and of course we enjoyed the conference, but every day we made it a goal to take in an escape room.
Yeah.
Yep.
So make sure we do something that we like, as well as something that we like. And part of the whole escape room thing was the stuff that's just like, how did you not see that? It's
true.
so obvious, but you can't see it.
It's funny. I'm surprised they haven't actually incorporated an elephant in the room. And then at the end, once you escape, did you see the elephant in the room? What?
Like it actually could be an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You're so focused on the puzzle that they've given you that.
And often it's that way, that there's something so like, how did we miss that? And then you're like banging your head
Every time, yeah.
But the actual definition, it's evolved a little bit, because the actual definition is if there's an important or an obvious topic that everyone's chosen not to talk about. So it's not that it's unnoticed, but it's been... I'm not touching it.
So no one's talking about it.
Right.
They all know it's there.
which is ironic because it's something that should be talked about. Like, so if I came in here just wearing like chaps, and it's like,
we would talk about it.
exactly,
We would talk.
you'd be like, there's the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Is
And
that your chapstick?
exactly, there would be some conversation about it, but with some of those societal things, the more out there something is, the more you don't talk about it.
Right. I think sometimes it's out of politeness that there's like, I'm not bringing that up.
But if I'm wearing chaps,
I'd bring that up.
We're going to be talking about
but
it.
it would depend on who came in wearing chaps.
so if some other person came in wearing chaps, you'd just be like, that was interesting.
It would depend, yeah. If they're already with, let's say our boss is walking someone else down the hallway and they're only wearing chaps. But our boss isn't acknowledging it at all.
It's like, that is the elephant in the room.
Right.
That, yes.
Then I wouldn't bring it up. I'm like, he sees it, right?
Am I the only one?
I guess we're not.
Just
talking
pretend
about
like we
this.
don't see that. Yeah.
But the more outrageous something is, the more you want to talk about it. But
It's
depending
kinda-
on how outrageous it is, you can't.
It's
talk
kind of the
about
emperor's clothes,
it. Sure.
sort of, right? Like, no, we're not talking about that, right?
Don't bring that
Yeah.
up.
Until some kid is just like,
You're wearing chaps, and that's it.
the emperor's new chaps.
That's a different kind of movie. It's not good, but you want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
But
yeah,
you don't talk about it.
but you don't.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like frightening.
It's like, did you ever see that YouTube video that got passed around? I don't know what it was actually for, but it's like, count how many passes the basketball players,
Oh yeah.
and then afterwards they're like, did you see the gorilla?
Yeah.
And you didn't.
It's like a panda bear walking through.
Yeah,
Something,
and it's
yeah.
walking through. It
Break
dances
dancing.
on through, stops, and you don't even see it.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's amazing.
Count how many basketball
So that
passes
would be not
it
the
is.
ignoring it. That would be more of the example you gave. Like,
Well,
yeah,
that one you
missed.
don't see it. But if I come in chaps, it's like
No, you see that.
you're gonna see that.
I'm throwing this out here.
You're gonna be-
I'm making a
You're gonna have a
prediction.
hard time getting that out of your head.
I'm making a prediction right now. The fact that Skinny is harping on chaps, I predict it's coming up later, either as
What
a
are you
joke
talking about?
It's coming up.
or a riddle link, which is a game we're
Something.
going to introduce you to, is coming.
Maybe.
Chaps is coming back.
All right.
You think that's the elephant
Think
in the
through
room?
that. That is the elephant in the room.
Maybe I know you so well that I'm including
Yeah,
something
that's
excessively
That's actually quite
to
possible.
not talk about it.
I started looking up just like unrelated to the idiom. You know how the internet is, right? Total rabbit trail down Nowheresville. I'm looking up just like elephant facts, and so there's the things that a lot of people know. Like they're I think the only mammal, four-legged mammal, that all four legs bend the same way. Like the knees are on the front. Whereas like a deer, a dog, anything else, their back legs, the elbow part of their knee, it's not an elbow, goes the
elbow
other
part
way.
of the knee.
It retracts the other way. But an elephant has four front legs. They all
Okay,
bend. And
interesting.
also they don't run. Did you know that? They cannot gallop. They can walk or walk faster is how they say it.
That's like a lot of people. I
Walk
know.
or walk faster. I feel like that describes me.
Is that elephant power walking? He's got that gait on, the power walking
So
gait.
I
The
think it
best
has to
speed
do-
walkers in the
Because
world.
the gallop, I think the gallop is all four legs off the ground at once becomes a gallop, and so that never happens.
That's
with
floating.
That is floating.
with
I think
all
that's
four legs.
flying.
You know that classic,
If you
like,
can do that,
Maybe
you
one
can
at
fly.
a time. Maybe one at
like
a
the
time.
Mustang logo, where all four legs.
I know
are
what
up
you
at the
mean.
same
Yeah.
time.
But yeah, doesn't one leg have to be on the ground or
For
something?
an elephant. Also, they're afraid of dogs,
There is.
They're afraid of dogs.
and they have no predator.
Besides dogs,
Well, they're afraid of them.
They're afraid
but
of them?
A lion will sometimes attack an infant, whatever they're called, but.
There is a hybrid. I'm not even sure if you guys heard of this one where they cross a rhinoceros with an elephant. You know what
Is this real or is this a joke?
you know what they called it? Elephino. Wow.
You didn't make that up.
No, I didn't make
too
that up.
good.
that's
Like a
great.
3-year-old would.
Wow, that's a good one.
Well, while we're on the subject. So stupid. Well, how about you? What's something that comes up as one of those things where you enter a room and then perhaps people are like, don't talk about this?
No pressure. Tell us your deepest, darkest thing that
Deepest,
you hope
darkest
we don't
things.
bring up.
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you this story right now, okay? When my wife and I were first dating, and I got to go over to her family's house for the first family meal, and she's got a huge family. There's always so much food.
Huge, like elephant sized.
You know, a few of them, maybe. I don't know.
Trying to get you in trouble at the same
Yeah,
time.
you're gonna get me in
Do they
trouble.
listen?
Yeah. I
will
don't
this
know.
time.
They will now. Yeah.
Sorry, they have a huge family.
So a big family, and there's tons of food, and you know, and I love family dinners. They're always awesome. It was Easter dinner. There was turkey and ham and all this stuff, and I went back for seconds, and then my wife's mom had said, "Oh, there's so much, you can go get more." So I did, and when I finished that plate, my wife's sister said, "Wow, I can't believe you've finished that whole plate." And I looked around, and no one else was eating. And that's when I realized I was the elephant in the room.
They're all thinking about you.
They're like, this guy
can pack it away.
eat.
That's funny. That's the worst when something you realize is, oh, that's me. You're all talking about me.
It's all
I'm
me.
the elephant in the room.
I'm the elephant.
That's funny.
They're not talking about it. I guess we could move on to dessert, but you know who?
He's still eating.
He's still on the main course, I guess.
He's ate an entire turkey.
I had in a staff meeting one time a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys were there or remember this, but I had no idea, but my pants were split like right in the crotch. But we weren't at a table. We were all just sitting in chairs in a circle. And I'm sitting like any normal guy on the subway, you know, just like knees apart. And I see some snickering, whatever. And one of the female coworkers finally gets up, walks over, and just whispers in my ear, "Yeah, your pants are split wide open. We can see your underwear. It's bright orange." I'm like, "Oh man, thank you for saying something." I'm like, "How much whispering?" Like, yeah, that was not fun.
That's not an elephant in the room. How does he breathe through that?
All right, maybe we should get into something here. Hang on a second.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around, I looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origin.
There we go. Sometimes you need to segue out of an awkward conversation to go into origins. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, I brought up that you're a Disney fan, but you, I was going to say used to be, but you still are. You're an actor.
Yeah, yeah.
So to get...
Kind of.
Well,
Thespian.
Thespian?
Thespian.
Thespian.
Amateur. Is that
yeah.
more comfortable saying that? I think
I got paid once.
Yeah, there you go. You're a professional actor.
That's awesome.
Were you a part of the guild? Did you have any sort of union membership ever?
No, I just had one union credit, and you need 6. So
that counts.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Professional actor. You've written?
Yeah, we've written some stuff, yeah.
There we go. Okay, so to get into the origins, I have a script for you. I'm going to play one character. You're going to play the other.
All right.
This comes from Krylov and His Fables from 1808.
Okay.
And this is from all that I could find, the earliest, most probable origin to the idiom we're talking about today, which is the elephant in the room. So your lines are highlighted. I gave you the bulk of the script.
Okay.
Here we go. Good day, dear friend. Where do you come from?
From the museum, where I've spent 3 hours. I saw everything they have there and examined it carefully. So much have I seen to astonish me that, if you will believe me, I am neither strong enough nor clever enough to give you a full description of it. Upon my word, it is a palace of wonders.
I'm so happy what's happening right now.
How rich nature is in invention! What birds and beasts haven't I seen there? What flies, butterflies, cockroaches, little bits of beetles? Some like emeralds, others like coral. And what tiny...
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to say that word.
Cochineals, insects. Not a word that I've seen before. Why, really, some of them are smaller than a pin's head.
But did you see the elephant? What did you think it looked like? I'll be bound you felt as if you were looking at a mountain.
Are you quite sure it's there?
Quite sure.
Well, brother, you mustn't be too hard upon me, but to tell you the truth, I didn't remark the elephant.
And scene.
And scene.
Clap, clap,
Acting.
clap. Brilliant.
Wow. Sight reading right into it. I felt there was a character there.
That was awesome.
So that is
Well, thank you.
a fable from 1808, Krylov and His Fables. Now, here's an interesting thing. If you look up Krylov, it says a poet and a fabulist. That's a
Fabulous.
word.
A
Someone who
fabulist.
writes fables is a fabulist. And guess what?
He's fabulous.
That's where that word comes from.
Really?
Really?
Fabulous.
Ah.
It has the same root, which makes sense, right? It's so legendary. Same type of word. Legendary comes from legend. It's unbelievable. Can't be believed.
That is not used enough.
You are fabulous.
He's a fabulist.
Because you are from a fable, my friend.
From a fable.
There's none like you.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
You're a fabulist.
Anyway, yeah, that was from Krylop and his fables, and we're gonna go quickly through the origins because there's some interesting stuff here. But 1872, Fyodor Dostoevsky, did I say that right?
Sure.
So in his novel Demons, reference this. Belinsky was just like Krylop's inquisitive man, which is, by the way, the name of what we just read, The Inquisitive Man,
Okay.
who didn't notice the elephant in the museum. So he's already referencing that fable, and it stuck from then on. So it's hard to say when it became an idiom, because it was a fable, it was a reference. But 1959, here's a quote from the New York Times. Financing schools has become a problem about equal to having an elephant in the living room. It's so big you just can't ignore it. So it's starting to inch that way without referencing the fable. And but the idiom is most likely even earlier than that. There was, in the British Journal of Education in 1915, there was a sentence presented as a trivial illustration of a question British schoolboys would be able to answer, and the example was, is there an elephant in the classroom? So it just became this part and parcel, like elephant and room. Notice it, don't notice it. And the first widely conceptual reference was actually a story written by Mark Twain in 1882, The Stolen White Elephant. And fast forward through the story, Mark Twain's story of the little boy who was told to stand in a corner and not to think of the white elephant. So it was kind of like there wasn't one.
Don't think
but
of this.
don't think of it.
Don't think of this.
And it's
Okay.
just like all these things paired together. There's a funny one from the Charleston Gazette in 1952, which was Chicago. That's an old Indian word meaning get that elephant out of your room. And obviously not talking about an elephant and not what we call Native Americans anymore, but it was just like elephant and room. They go hand in hand. And then lastly, the first known citation that uses the phrase with totally the clear intention of it conveying the way we use it as an idiom or a phrase or a saying is a title of Tippo and Hastings' book called An Elephant in the Living Room, A Leader's Guide for Helping Children of Alcoholics. But that's 1984. So it's quite late in the game.
Sure.
And I have a hard time believing that it wasn't referenced as an idiom before 1984. I was born in 71. And I don't think that was a new thing in the 80s.
No. That's an oldie.
Yeah, so that could be a misgiven.
great example of this type of thing, an actual elephant in the room that is an elephant in the room, is good old Dumbo.
Yeah.
Tie in your Disney,
Oh, yeah.
where it's like, wow, he's got massive ears. Don't talk about the ears.
That's a good point.
It's like,
Yeah.
but he is the elephant in the room.
He is the elephant.
And his ears are so massive that you have to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you wouldn't want to talk about it because you want to hurt his feelings.
ears. Don't look at his ears.
Don't bring it up. Don't.
Don't bring it up. Whatever you do, don't talk about his ears.
Exactly. He goes nuts.
Maybe that's why they chose an elephant. Because have you ever seen videos of an elephant going nuts, like a mad elephant? Wow.
Look at that
like
mad-
flipping cars.
That
and-
mad elephant disease.
Oh, they're called cows. Female elephants are called cows. So maybe
they?
that's where it comes
So
from.
maybe that's
Mad
where-
cow disease.
Mad cow
Actually.
disease.
Elephino.
Okay, I've got to talk about this, but I got to play a clip to lead into this. So listen
Sure.
to this.
I'm Angie Crouch. Coming up at 5:30, animal rights activists are outraged over an art exhibit involving a live painted
There's
elephant.
an elephant in the room, a problem that we never talk about, says this small white card given to visitors.
Okay, right there. So that clip is from Exit Through the Gift Shop, but it's talking about an actual art exhibit done by Banksy,
Okay, yeah.
where he painted. So he did this like secret art exhibit in a warehouse, and one of it was this painted elephant. So there's a living room scene, and the elephant is painted exactly like the wallpaper.
Interesting.
And so there's
That's funny.
activists, there's all sorts of things. But the card that the visitors got handed was the elephant in the room was homelessness. And he was talking about how it's not being talked about, but it's such a problem. And so brought in this elephant. And of course, people went crazy because of the elephant, even though it was children's face paint that he used. that it was unfair, but it was all dropped. The elephant was fine.
That's hilarious.
That was here's the cool part. 2006 is when the art exhibit was, and Banksy already speaking up on the elephant in the room. Now there's another Banksy art out there that was a water tank, like picture a water tank on the back of a semi, like not upright but horizontal, and it had like a spout going out of it, and his graffiti on this thing was, all he did was go up and really nice font just puts, "This looks like a bit like an elephant." That's all he did. What he didn't know, what nobody knew, was there's a man, I guess you can't call him homeless because this was his home. He found a home inside this water tank and had been living there for 7 years. But because Banksy put his stamp on it, it now became this priceless art that they went and took and tried to sell, and this guy lost his home for 7 years. So here's Banksy totally, trying to help homelessness, and puts this man out of his home. And he had the only way into this water tank was to climb the steel ladder and get in the hatch at the top. And he had over 7 years he was an artist. He had like choreographed Michael Jackson impersonator. Like he was an artist for years, and ended up being on the street. And then he's like, he wasn't a problem. The police left him alone. They would check in on him, but let him stay there. And he had disassembled furniture, got it through the hatch, and reassembled it, and made himself this home. Like leveled out the bottom, made a flat floor. By the end of the 7 years, he had a generator, so TV and electricity in there, and was living in this art form that Banksy labeled, "This looks a bit like an elephant." So the irony there is, there was a room in the elephant.
There was a room
and this
in
is not
the
a
elephant.
joke. This is actually, so when he got kicked out of his home, he was instantly living in the woods again, and word got back to Banksy, and they don't know. Oh, the guy heard them when they were painting it. He came out and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're kind of making a joke." And he got out, went and looked at it. He thought it looked great. It's his home. He's like, "I like it." And the guy introduced himself as Banksy, but he didn't know who that was. He's like, "Okay.
Nice to meet you."
Wow.
Yeah, so then Banksy finds out, he loses his home, and all that we know is he goes, "I went from living in the woods to having my own apartment, having my own belongings, and being able to live in that apartment for more than a year. Got my feet on the ground."
That's awesome.
Wow,
He
yeah.
set him up. Yeah.
That's good.
So,
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I know. I thought that was pretty cool.
You're a fabulist.
You are fabulous.
That's all real. That's all real stuff. I'm not making that up.
But it doesn't mean you're not fabulous.
I could write a fable.
It's better to look fabulous.
Fabulous. There you go.
That's awesome.
Have either of you ever been, whether it's zoo or traveled and ridden an elephant?
I have.
Have you?
You have, really?
Yeah, as was a much younger version of myself. Yes, as a kid. Remember when the circus came to town, and you could do elephant
That was an
rides?
option.
Yeah, back then, before it was all you hate animals and you're a pig and scum of the earth. Back then, circus used to be fun. And so I have ridden an elephant.
Wow, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was that did it cost anything? I hear they work for peanuts. That was so stupid.
Yeah.
Elephant jokes are terrible.
I remember there being elephants in the closest zoo here, and they don't have elephants anymore. I don't know why. Like, I think it was literally like the same sort of thing. Like, they don't belong in Canada.
They packed up their stuff
They don't
into a
belong.
trunk. And
Yes,
And they left.
exactly. Yeah,
I don't know. I think we still have like some wildlife, but just not elephants.
just not elephants. And they used to do rides, but for whatever reason, we lost our elephants.
This place sucks.
Yeah.
Bring back our elephants.
Bring them back. Start a petition.
It's different with some of those enclosure things now that it has to be like under certain conditions. Like when we were in an aquatic park, and I think it wasn't the San Diego Zoo, but it was in California, and the wildlife display that had the manatees. And they couldn't just have like, hey, and here's a manatee in a tank and doing its manatee float around thing. It's like, this manatee has been chewed up by the propeller of a boat, and so it's a rescue manatee.
Rescue.
Yeah, that's what they have to
it
do
has
now.
be,
Yeah.
So we need a rescue elephant somehow.
Yeah.
Rescue
to
elephant.
tour in the circus.
Oh, by the way, the guy living in the water tank, his name was Rollerball because he was a famous rollerblader for a while. Choreographed
it's starting to
rollerblade
sound
dancer.
more fabulous.
I know,
It's
it's
much
true.
more fabulous.
His name's Rollerball.
Fantastic
Huh.
story.
Is
It's not his
it?
real name.
Is
They
it?
gave his real name. I don't
it's not his
remember.
real name.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's not his real name.
I don't remember his real name, but I do remember Rollerball.
Of course, his name's not Rollerball. Well, who could you trust? Yeah, so we need a rescue elephant.
Yeah, we'll get on that.
It's a rescue elephant in the room.
Why are
elephant.
elephants all in very warm climates when their ancestors are woolly mammoths in the Arctic or wherever? Like total extremes. Why aren't they still living in...
Maybe they're just like nudists.
The nudists.
They're like mammoth nudists.
They need the tropics.
Yeah.
They went bald.
Yeah.
That
My
can't
head
be all
gets
bad.
cold.
The Asian elephants are hairier than the African elephants.
Interesting.
Which I thought ironic.
What is the flight speed of an African versus a European elephant? The flight speed.
The average flight
Call me
is the
Tim.
depends on if they're carrying coconuts.
How do they carry coconuts? By the husk.
So dumb.
On their tusk.
Tusk.
This is getting worse. We should wrap this thing up before it completely devolves. So
All
let's see if we can do some riddling.
Well, Riddling is a game we like to play that is a two-part trivia-based question and requires a two-part but overlapping answer. So you've played a couple of these with us in the past. You know how this works, right?
I think so.
Well, let me give you an example. Last week's idiom was head over heels. This is kind of the closest idiom record day to Valentine's Day. And so our riddle link for that day was Valentine's Day is when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We had a few right answers come in. Actually, Dang Alano threw one in. I think he was first again.
I love that guy.
And so Valentine's Day is February 14. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. So the correct answer is February 1492. So that's how Riddle Link is played.
Okay.
So we got a couple. We'll let you guess first
Let me get started here
because
with one for
we
you.
can read each other's minds and often have the same puzzle.
Be fun. Okay. She wore glass slippers, but still felt untalked about at a gathering.
Disney.
Yeah, well, Cinderella.
We aimed this at you.
She wore glass slippers, but still felt untalked about at a gathering.
Cinderella-phant in the room.
That's
There you go.
Good job,
Okay,
man.
let's see if you can get this one. I'm turning my screen here so you
okay.
can't cheat. Let's not talk about this obvious subject and then order food to our suite
Let's not talk about this obvious subject.
and then order food to our suite.
Elephant in the room service.
There it is. Exactly.
Good. Okay.
You have another one?
Oh, yeah. I got another one for you here. Is anyone going to talk about this self-guided vacuum?
What?
Elephant in the Roomba.
There it is.
Oh, I didn't get that. I couldn't get Hoover out of my head. Okay, I got one more, but why don't you not answer?
All right.
And we will leave it for our...
Send it out to our village-legitimate children out there.
tell our village-legitimate children how they can get a hold of us.
You can reach us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone.
And do you have anything you want to push, plug, or advertise? You have a new miniseries coming out or anything?
You can check out my new
Roll out the
Netflix
red
special. It's
take
on
a-
there real deep.
Just take a look at the clip. All right, here's one for everybody else. Will's uncle... Sorry, let me start over. Will's uncle on The Fresh Prince made the art exhibit The Elephant in the Room.
Wow.
Don't say it. I saw your mouth starting to move, working it out in your head.
I think I actually got a piece. Okay. So... we're not saying anything on this one. This
Nope,
is the
we're
one
leaving
we're
it.
leaving
Send
this one?
it out in your
Okay.
answers.
Leave it out there for the
And if you've
village-legitimate
ever ridden
children.
an elephant or painted one, let us know.
Comment below.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great having you today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
man.
having me. It was awesome.
Super fun.
It's always good. We enjoy putting
Be
it
fun.
together.
Super
be
be fun.
Be fun when you're here. It's a good thing. Well, we enjoy putting it together. I am Skinny.
I am Jurassic Junk in my trunk, Mark.
And I'm Be Fun.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Time to address the elephant in the room.
That's 3 minutes gone.